Okay, well, this is attempt number 3 in recording. Tried to record content for my ministry. All right. Let me just get right into it. So, hi. I am Giovanna Michelle Escalante. I'm 22 years old. And I am a follower of the Most High. Ahaya Ashahaya. Son Yeshua HaMashiach, or Yasha HaMashiach. I am a teacher of love. Father gave me this ministry in April of 2022, the ministry name. But he's asked me to post content in regards to his name and Yeshua and Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, Sabbath day, and he's given me a lot of truths that I myself really wanted to know, and he led me to a lot of truths, and he has asked me to share it with everyone. I was supposed to do this 2 years ago, but due to fear and I don't want to acknowledge. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be acknowledging it, but I want you guys to know, like, I've been holding myself back due to fear of success, I guess. I'm not that, I'm not one to put myself out there, I like to be hidden. I like to be private, very, very private, very private. And this is the opposite of that. This is my educational corner. This is my contemplation corner. This is my so this is very, like, intimate, I guess, as I could be. I was probably gonna do this outside, but there's noise in here. All right, you know what? I'm getting out of what I'm trying to get at. My bad. The Most High has asked me to speak about his name, to speak about him, to speak about basically all the information that he's gifted me due to my curiosity. And he has asked me to just put it out here. He wants me to talk to you guys about me, how I was brought up, how I got here where I am now. I tried to do that a couple days ago, and I did not like the way it came out. So I prayed this time before I recorded. I prayed, and while I was praying, my professional camera that was gifted to me died, even though I fully charged the battery. And my dog just so happened to knock down the lighting that I had set up. So I was going to just quit for for the rest of the day again. But you know what? Father's like, can you just use your webcam? Your mic is you have your lighting in your mic. I'm like, all right. So my camera battery's charging again right now, and I guess in the meantime it's not too bad that I can use my webcam camera. So it's not how I would want it, but you know, this is urgent apparently. Alright, I'm just gonna get right into it. Well, I am the firstborn of 200 immigrant parents. I was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey in 1999 of October 22nd. My parents were very poor. I was supported off government money the majority of my upbringing until maybe I was 12 years old. My parents finally got stable enough. The Most High blessed my parents with good jobs that provided. It's mostly my father who would provide for us. Growing up, he's always been a truck driver, so the majority of the time it was me and my mother alone. I have 2 younger sisters. Currently one is 18, the other one's 8. She just turned 8. Growing up, it was just me and my mother, and my little sister Angie, that's her name. Well, I experienced a lot of sadness, boredom growing up, a lot of resentment towards both parents. I could speak Spanish. They speak Spanish. That was their language. Fresh from Honduras, you know, in New Jersey. They didn't speak English, so I had to learn Spanish to speak to my parents, and that was pretty fine. That was okay until I had to go to school. English then became my first language, and then Spanish growing up was always learning at home, and I feel like that barrier kind of like didn't really help with me communicating with my parents. There's numerous occasions where I would want to speak to them about something or just talk to them, and they would not understand what it is that I would want to say to them. And if I did say it in the best way I could for them to understand, like in Spanish or Spanglish, they still wouldn't. I feel like they wouldn't really understand what it is I was trying to say to them. So I had my parents, but I was very, very much alone in that aspect. A lot of doctor's appointments when I was a kid, a lot of hospital visits. Majority for my younger sister. as a child, I actually didn't know that. How do I say this? Like, attention was very much something I wanted as a kid, but I guess I didn't get it the way I wanted it. Spanish household, the way they teach you right from wrong, the way I was taught right from wrong, was pretty much screaming, hitting, a lot of hitting, a lot of physical, I don't want to call it abuse, but physical discipline. Discipline. My father and my mother, they grew up in a very rough time. Both my parents were abused severely, each in their own way. And in that case, when they both ventured off to be their own adults, they brought that trauma with them, unhealed as it was, and would inflict on to me the same, not to the same degree that they received it at, but their variation of that trauma, they then passed it on to me through this. I guess I'm not giving you guys that much detail of like what it is, like what is it, like my parents would, my father would yell at me, and when it's yelling, it's screaming. This grown man is screaming. Okay. This grown man likes to scream his answers to me with condescending words, with words that make you feel small, with words that were probably said to him like, alright. And it would be over little things. Like, I'll give you an example. One time, my father and I, with my mom, were in the kitchen, and I was letting them know that at school I was taught about the nutritional facts on the back of the box of whatever snack you're eating, right? And I tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, you should really look at the ingredients and, like, the amount of calories your snacks are having, because you're eating a lot. This is a serving is the set amount. As a kid, I'm telling you, like, this is what the box says is how much one person should eat at one time. That's what I was trying to get at with my dad. And he literally had such a massive outburst on me just for saying that. He said in Spanish, "You're not gonna come at me and be telling me things in my house, in my food. You're gonna tell me how to eat. I know what I'm doing." Like, blah 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 blah. Like, get your dumb ass shit like out of my face. Like, ignorance, just ignorance, right? And I'm thinking I'm genuinely helping my dad. No, like, he did not take that way. And that, I guess I just asked too many questions as a child. I talked too much, I guess, as a kid. And I tested their patience a lot, I guess. And responses were most of the time yelling. And when they would sleep, the way they would react to me when they would sleep, that, I guess, as a child, I did make a lot of noise. And my parents had to work, and I guess I wasn't considerate in that aspect, but the amount of screaming that I have taken on a daily basis was, I thought, a normal amount. So then come to find out that people don't scream at each other just when they want to talk, or when they have something that they want to convey and it's not being taken the way you would want to be taken, like they're not communicating it properly or something, or regular conversations aren't being made. It's just screaming. Screaming your opinion over others. Alright, well, school. I was weird with school. People told me I was weird on multiple occasions at school. I would always be by myself. I never had like that diehard friend like that's always like there to be with you. Mind you, I'm watching other kids have these diehard friends that to this day still have these diehard friends. Okay. And I don't know why I'm rubbing my eyes. I would find like this one or two, three other girls I would hang out with, but I was never like allowed to have anything outside of school. Like once school was done, like that's it. Like you wait till tomorrow to see them. Like some kids would be like, "Hey, you wanna come to my house? We can play." And we could like do something. We could go do something with our parents or something. No, that was not allowed. I was not allowed to socialize after school. The most I would get would be like the park at the back of the apartment complex where we would live at, and yeah, that was the most social outside of school that I would get. And I played with my sister, but I don't know. My sister would never like play the way I would want to play, so like I don't know. I wanted kids my age to play with me. I didn't want to play with like it sounds terrible, but that's like alright, whatever. It's terrible. Well, school sucked for me. I was very depressed during school. I had the worst middle school experience, and it was my fault. When you're a little kid and you're very concerned with love, it's not something you should be focused on. I wish I had focused on like music or something. Like I wish I had focused on being more creative. Middle school and then on, I was only concerned with love. I'm assuming it was because my father was never home. My mother yearned for my father to always be home, and she couldn't have him home because he would have to be taking something somewhere far away, and he would be gone for months at a time, weeks at a time, to a point where my mom got upset. So then he was coming home every weekend. Only on the weekends he would come home. Like, I have my dad, he lives with us, but he's not there. That definitely affected my mom, which in part affected me. And I didn't realize that until I recently noticed that my only concern growing up was having a boyfriend, having someone to be with me, and to not leave. When I realized that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need some more Yeshua in my life. I'm gonna need a little bit more, because there's more to life than that kind of stuff. Like, that's included, of course, but like, there's so much more to life than being upset about somebody, because that's what I have been, and that's been my issue. I would just be upset over someone, upset over myself, allow myself to be in this abyss of self-pity. I'd pity myself so much. I'd be like, oh, poor me, and I would just stay there. I was like that till recently. It kind of started when I turned 15, 14. I was like, I'm tired of because I used to have a lot of issues with my physical self-image. I had issues comparing myself with people, comparing myself with unrealistic ideals. We're talking about my body, right? I'm a kid. That's all I would care about. Do I look pretty? That was my only concern. Dudes, getting a boyfriend. That was my only concern for a very long time. I don't know what kind of testimony this is. I was trying to get at how I met Yeshua, how I've had a relationship with Yeshua, but I guess I'm telling you where I was at before I gave my life to Yeshua is what I just explained. I was very very sad, very sad. The circumstances I was in, I always had a roof over my head. Thanks to the Most High, I always had food on the table. Yeah, the power would go out sometimes. Yeah, my mom would probably be stressing out so much sometimes because she wouldn't know how to get certain bills paid, and I'm too young to be able to do anything about it, so she's just venting to me about it. And but thanks to the Most High, I've always had a home and my two parents, and I'm beyond grateful for that, because I can say that both my parents are still with me, and that they both love me and they care for me and my sisters, and we love each other. And yeah, they put me through a lot of BS. Both parents. Both of my parents, I resented them for a very long time growing up. Up till listen, the Most High had me forgiving them the whole way through, but to say that I genuinely forgave my parents for the things that they caused me to feel, to endure, to go through, I would say I forgave them when I was 20. But I did not want to. But it's because of the Most High. It's because of the Most High. I can say that I genuinely love my parents. And they're still going through some stuff, you know. They're not perfect. They're people. They have their days. But to the stuff that they did to me growing up, I don't look back at it now with resentment. I don't look back at it like, oh, how dare they do that? How could you do that to me? How could you let that go? Like, how could you let that happen? No. I look at it more like, okay, I went through that. I walked through that. Came out on the other side with more knowledge, experience, and now I know how I would not want to conduct myself with my children if the Most High blesses me with children, or with whoever's child I'm guiding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, I look back at it now with like, all right, I learned something from all of that. Like, I did not just go through it just to go through it. I like pondered of like, all right, how could I have been better? How could I have been more thoughtful, considerate in that situation? How could I have been more mature in that situation? And this is this is what occurs when you're not like that, when you're not mature, when you're not considerate, when you're not thinking about the other person. Then this is what happens, you know. Like, there was a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting, you guys. Physical, verbal. Oh my gosh. Chaos. But then that's also the enemy causing the chaos if you let them. That's another thing I gotta talk about. Alright. This video is getting pretty long. I don't want to like... I think I'm just gonna do them like 30 minutes. Around 30 minutes each. I'm sorry. I'm new at this. I want to be as real as I can without, you know, I don't know. Without cutting it too short. I want to be able to, you know, present myself the way the Most High wants me to present myself. Because I don't want to put up this front. Like I don't know. Like, I want to tell you guys straight up, like, my story, but without boring you guys, you know. And I want to say it in a way that the Most High can help you guys through it. But I don't want to overcomplicate it either, because that's something I struggle with. I struggle with overcomplicating things, just for the just because, just because. And you know, I'm just gonna keep going from there. I guess I'll cut it, right? Well, I was just making sure my laptop's charging. Well, I went through a lot of perverse moments in my upbringing. Yeah, perverse spirit has been operating in my family for I don't know how long, but it was definitely operating in my life, and it was operating in my mother's life. My father, I couldn't tell you, but in my mother's life, it was definitely present. So the spirit of lust and adultery is something that I've had to battle for a very long time. I would struggle with oh my gosh, Father wants me to really say this out loud. Like, I can't believe this. And he wants me to post it and stuff. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, I'm gonna trust that the Father is doing something, because I don't say this, I don't talk about this, but my Father has delivered me from I can't even say it. Um, why is it so weird for me to say it? Oh my goodness. He's delivered me from same-sex urges. Urges is what I'm gonna call them. Um, I used to be very attracted to women growing up, and kids could definitely tell. Yeah, I struggled with that majority of my life. But I I know that that doesn't lead me the way that I'm trying to go. I I'm a wife. I'm a mother. Like I'm a homemaker. Like I don't want to be rude, but I'm not someone who would settle down with another woman. No, I wouldn't. I would never. Personally, meaning I would never. And I don't want to say it like that. In Yasha's mighty name, I take that back. Because you never want to say never. But I've made it a priority in my life. At a very young age, I decided that my life was going to glorify the Most High. That I wanted my life to be pleasing and as holy as it could be for the Most High. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm trying to get into the kingdom of heaven. Like, and I know it's some people look at it as a state of being. It's not a physical place. Father showed me not recently. Father revealed it to me 2 years ago that. Sorry, my bad. Father revealed to me a couple years ago that the kingdom of heaven, nobody's there yet. So everybody that has died to this point in time that we're in, or in the future, until the world passes away, then people will get into the kingdom of heaven. And that's when we're all going to go through this filter of who's going to get in and who's not. But that's until every last living being has lived their life here. And the will of the Most High is fulfilled the way that He wants it fulfilled. Until then, you're going to find out if you got in or not. And I don't know about you. This gal's been trying to get in since I got here. Okay? Since I got here, I've been trying to get in. So, that's where my life journey with the Father starts. And this is where my real testimony comes in, I guess. My life begins being conceived in Honduras, being with my mama in her belly until she makes it to New Jersey, where she had to pray to get in. And she basically, like, I don't know if you guys know what a covenant is, but the Father does these things called covenants. It's like an agreement, right? The word has many examples of these covenants, of these agreements. But basically, sorry, I didn't know my. Jeez. Nobody be looking at me, okay? So, my mom knows the Most High as Jehovah back in 1999. She's like, Jehovah, I don't want to be weird about it. She's like, Jehovah, please allow my child to be born in the U.S. and I will name her after you and lead her in your ways. Is the gist of what she says in Spanish. Hence why my mother named me Giovanna. Is how you say it in Spanish. In English I say Giovanna, but in Spanish it's Giovanna. Father's gracious, so he showed us grace, and I was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and my mother did exactly as she said she was for my Heavenly Father. And I'd like to think that my Heavenly Father was giving me the rundown of what I was supposed to be doing here and how long I was going to be down here and what I had to do, how I had to do it. Like giving me, mission objectives, giving me the overview of the mission, before the agent gets launched out of the airplane or launched out of the chopper to go do their mission. They got that one person briefing them, I like to think that I was getting my briefing. And then I get punted down here. Boom, here I am. Because the only thing I would want to do as soon as I got here is help my parents. Help. What do you need me to do? Like, what can I do? Like, how can I help you? How can I comfort you? How can I love on you? How can I treat you to help you? But it would not be received that way. It would be received like, get out of my way. I can do this type. You can help us to how much we want your help, but like, no. That's how I was received. And then I was like, am I wrong? Am I not in the right for wanting to help? But then I guess as a child, I didn't really know how to help properly, and I'm a child. So, disregarded, put away, shoved to the side. It was a lot of what I had to go through. I was like, step aside, child. I don't know where this is going. But, my mother took me to my first church when I was like 8, 9. I liked it for the music, because as a little girl, I always was singing. That's all I would do. Opera singing was my favorite. I loved opera sing. I'd love to just belt out notes like, whoa. Like, I'll go on YouTube and I'll just search up like top songs of the year or whatever, and I'll just like listen to those songs, and then I would look up the lyrics and I would just sing out those songs, whatever song I liked gave me like that But my mom took me to church, and I got to see a live version of music through church. It was always so cool and like, loud, and I like that. Didn't care for the message. As soon as whoever was talking would come up to talk and the singing was done and the worship part of the service was done, like, oh, my bad, like, I checked out. I'm like, I'm like, alright, I'm done. Like, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't want to understand. It's in Spanish. You're talking really fast. My mom's trying to explain it to me, because I'm curious sometimes, because she'd be looking at me. They'd say something like, you know how, I don't know if you guys gone to church, but like, you know, when your parent like is receiving a word and they're talking about their kids, or they're talking about something that your kids do, and they just like look at you like, oh, you better listen, she's talking about you. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? I wouldn't care for the words. My mom, her church top like 2 times after that. And it was the same thing for worship. I liked the worship. The worship was the best part. And the food, bro. I'm going to Spanish church. Y'all don't understand if y'all don't go to Spanish church. If y'all haven't gone to Spanish church. When I was going to Spanish church, it was 2010s to the 2017s. I was going to church, okay? 7 years, be straight going to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. Going to church. Bro, the food. I've eaten so much good food. Costa Rican food. Colombian food. Puerto Rican food. It was mostly Costa Rican food. They know who they are. But that would literally be my okay, I'm going to church. And you know, I'm a kid, and my mom wouldn't let me go out with other kids after school. The only other like socialization I would get would be in church with these church kids. Mind you, nobody wants to be there. None of these church kids are trying to be there, okay? We're all there for our parents. And we basically were just like, we gotta stick it out. We're gonna hear for a set amount of time, alright. What are we finna do? You know, they would put us in class, they would teach us some stuff, we'd color, craft, snacks, movies. Yeah, they'd pass the time for us. But so bored. Church became like this babysitting kind of thing. I felt like church was my babysitter. But the music was always the best part for me. For me personally, the music was the best. The worship part of the service was for me the best. I'd love to sing with them. And I don't know, I couldn't tell you if I could notice a difference when I would sing church music compared to regular music at home. I couldn't tell you. I did just love to just sing, so I could have been in a prideful place where, you know, I was like, oh, I probably sing so much better than, you know, everybody else in this joint. So I couldn't tell you if I, at a young age, felt a difference worshiping, because I was very prideful, you guys. So prideful. And apparently extremely selfish. My mother would tell me that on multiple occasions. And thanks to the Most High, I've been humbled. And I have been very, I try to be as generous as I can with what I got. You know what I mean? I try. With my sisters, it used to be very, very hard. But I have been watching the Most High, like, do this thing where I'm, like, okay with it. I'm alright with it now. It's not like, you guys, like, I used to be very bitter, very, 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 very coveting type, like, this is mine, like, this is mine, I don't want nobody else to have, just like, this is all my stuff, I don't want nobody to have this stuff, this is all my stuff, like, how dare you want to try to take my stuff, I barely have any stuff, like, I was very much in a lack mindset, I was very much in a don't have kind of mindset, so I was like a squirrel, like, grabbing all the nuts and just putting them all, like, get away from my stuff type. But I didn't know that it could be that these things were affecting me as much as they were until I stopped doing those things. After I gave it to the Most High, and I was like, okay, well, I have to go back to that. But after I like gave these issues to the Father, I was like, Father, like, I don't like that I'm this way. Like, I don't like that I'm operating in this manner for this said situation. I don't like that I'm reacting this way. Like, I didn't like the way that I was. I didn't like it. And it took me a while operating in that way for me to realize that I did not like it because I was reacting a said way. And then I asked Father, I was like, can you help me? Like, can you help me, like, stop doing that so that I can do something that is more productive? To operate in a way that is more forgiving to myself and to whoever it is I'm speaking to, no matter what the circumstance is. Without causing so much pain for me and the other person, just because I don't agree or just because they're not receiving what I'm putting down the way that I'm putting it down. That makes sense. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to church now. I'm 12. I don't know when I started dancing. I joined a worship dance group at my local church when I turned 13, 12, 14, around there, around that age. I was actually still, my mom had to go to the church on Tuesdays, I think it was at the time, and for flowers. I forget why she would go. Bible study. And I would always just be waiting for her in the babysitting room, because that's where I would always be at for my little sister or for me, and that was just the room that we'd always be in to wait. So I'm older now. And I'm just sitting in the baby room waiting for my mom. I'm going to church regularly, but as I said, I'm only caring about the worship stuff. I don't care about the word still. My mom handed me a Bible at home growing up. The only books that ever sparked interest to me that I could read were Psalms and the Book of Revelation. The Book of Revelation, I don't know what it was. Genesis, the front and the back and the middle. That's why. The front sparked my interest because of Adam and Eve, but that was it. Psalms, I don't know why Psalms was something I was interested as a child before I had a relationship, but Psalms, I would read Psalms. And the Book of Revelation I would read because I wanted to understand what it is I was trying to say, because it had dragons and it was the end of the world, and it was like angels, and it was like boom this, boom like that. That's like in my head when I would read Book of Revelations. It would just be like this huge scene of like destruction, and I thought it was so cool, and I'm like, yo, this is supposed to happen. Okay. But that's the most word I would get, and I wouldn't even read it. Like, I would just skim and read the chunks that interest me, and then that's it. I'm going to church. I'm just there. I'm just present, and I'm singing. That's it. I ain't doing jack besides that. Okay.